and welcome back to the ABCs of ERP and Beyond, the podcast all around enterprise resource planning and how it fits in the world of business today. And in our last episode, we did a small introduction into mobile scanning technology and whether your business is ready for it and what are the kind of the signs that you are ready for it, including breaking down the benefits of it, analyzing ROI, exploring how you can start thinking about implementing warehouse workflows using mobile scanning. So if you missed that episode, be sure to check that one out. We really laid the foundation for understanding how these kind of tools like barcode scanning can transform businesses in terms of accuracy, improving optimizations, reducing costs, and providing real-time data. So make sure you check that episode out. And today's episode, we are putting that theory into action. So part 2 of this mini-series, we're going to take a closer look at how mobile scanning works in the real world with a live demo of Acumatica's warehouse management system. So we'll walk you through, Nirav will walk us through the full fulfillment cycle. So everything from receiving an order, Shopify order, how that comes into Acumatica and how that gets processed all the way through to final shipment. So along the way, we'll have a look at how Acumatica's WMS module streamlines the picking workflows, how batch picking works, really demonstrate the power of mobile scanning devices. So whether you're evaluating new warehouse technology, optimizing your current process, or just curious about how modern ERPs like Acumatica simplify these operations, then this episode is for you. So as ever, can't do this without Nirav Shah. So welcome back, Nirav.
Thank you, Peter. Happy to be back and adding to our warehouse management miniseries, as you said. Focusing on this particular area is super important, I'm sure, for a lot of companies that are going through this process of warehouse optimization. Old school ways are always, hey, let's pass around a pick, let's write on the pick ticket, let's pick the inventory, let's move inventory manually, let's go ahead and do all these things. And try to, make an efficient process that's currently inefficient by using paper. No matter which way you slice it, if there's paper involved in the warehouse floor, this process just slows down because it's not being agile. You're always maybe, few hours behind changes that are actually happening in the order entry process versus, having a pick or having the ability to understand where inventory is, what needs to be picked for today, what could be held off till tomorrow, what orders are important to be fulfilled today. Having the ability to see that real time on an electronic device will keep you more real time than working with paper. We're at, like as I said, as paper may keep you 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours behind any changes that's happening in the front end. So, if you're a business that is time sensitive to ship inventory out, and there's fluidity and changes that are happening between the customer and the front office orders coming in, and because of these changes, there's a massive disruption or interruption that happens throughout the day in the warehousing flow, where you just always have to constantly stop and start and stop and start and can't go through one whole order because of the number of changes that are happening. I think you should look at a more automated approach like a warehouse management system, right? What we call a WMS. And this has exploded in popularity, in my opinion. I think primarily is retail e-commerce has exploded in the last so many years, right? Now, Amazon has made it like the starting point to do, to get into retail e-commerce, you have to be able to do 2-day shipping. Now, when you do 2-day shipping, I don't know about you, Peter, But I find myself oftentimes, I will place an order on Amazon, literally before it ships. I know it's going to ship like overnight, or I'm going to get it the next day or whatever. But before it ships, I'll make a decision. You know what? I'm going to cancel that, or I'm just going to reduce the quantity on what I'm ordering. And I'll go back into my order and make a change.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
Amazon will pick up that change and
Yeah.
give me, whether cancel my order if I canceled it, or pick up the updated quantity and only send me that, which
Mm.
is great because Amazon has embraced that. If we automate our warehouse and we make it efficient, we could have a very streamlined approach where it doesn't create a lot of disruption on the warehouse floor when customers make changes, right? And I think that's
Yep.
customer service up front. Customers are just like that. Customers are going to do all sorts of things that you don't want them to do, but you have to be able to learn how to react to it as a business owner. And when you can react to
Mm.
it and not create a lot of inefficiencies on the warehouse floor, you're going to have
Mm-hmm.
happier employees. You're going to have better inventory turnover ratios for your inventory. You may hold less inventory because you'll see over time, right, how quickly you're getting rid of inventory or how slow inventory is moving.
Mm-hmm.
You may be able to rearrange your warehouse in ways that you didn't think was possible. Meaning that once you get a pick and it's on your mobile device, and you see people always often going from, doing the zigzag or something around the warehouse floor because of what they're picking, you might be able to say, all right, well, let's optimize this because we have this data and information now on what the pick flow looks like. Let's move things around so we're picking in a logical way in the warehouse.
Yep.
So when people are
I
taking their
completely agree.
handheld device, they're going in the right places. They're starting in point B, A, point B, C, D, E, F, and it's leading them to shipping instead of
Mm.
them taking the pick, going to the middle of the warehouse, picking something, then going to the back of the warehouse, picking something else, then going to the front, then going back to the back of the warehouse, right? You need to create some efficiencies around this.
Yep.
So when a picker comes in the morning, they know exactly what to pick. They start at point A and they end at point B or C, D, whatever that looks like, but it's a logical flow, right? And
Yep.
along the way, that warehouse management system, and if you're using a handheld device, it's picking up the latest changes or corrections that are happening on the order. So you're not
Yeah.
picking incorrect quantities, you're not picking incorrect items. It should be refreshing constantly. So by the
Yep.
time it gets to shipping, shipping is just doing one more final check of what the
Mm.
order looks like at the time of shipping and just shipping it out,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I
Not a lot of
completely.
changes.
And this is the thing with the old way of, I say the old way of doing things because
Yeah,
a lot of companies still are, but paper operations in a business, it's just a snapshot of a moment in time. That piece of paper is a snapshot of what that order looked like
yeah,
at that point of time. And a
yeah.
whole host of things could have changed between that actually being printed out and the warehouse getting around to picking it. So it really leaves teams disconnected from real-time updates. There's Now they're prone to errors because it might not be the latest copy of what the customer needs, and they're just simply unable to really keep pace with the modern demands that I think
Yeah,
people like Amazon really set.
yeah.
So being able to edit orders the day before it gets shipped.
Mm-hmm.
How are you supposed to manage that in a paper world? There's going to be
Exactly.
paper all over the place. You,
Yeah.
as much as the best pigeonhole system and picking priority system can be put in place, nothing beats just getting that particular team leveraging the ERP in the first place.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And I think we mentioned this in our first, series around this, that there's a lot of approaches to this. You just can't wake up one day and say, yeah, hey, I want to go and just put all this together and start using mobile devices. You need to set up and prep your warehouse. You need to understand what technology you want to use for your mobile device, right? You got to print those barcodes and make sure that your team is able and willing to make this change. You may
Yep.
find some resistance, and you have to kind of get everybody on board, helping them understand the vision and the efficiencies that they're going to gain around this process. But there's some groundwork that needs to be done before you fully implement this. And in today's podcast, we want to talk about the Acumatica version of WMS. Okay, Acumatica has a module called Warehouse Management Systems. It's a module that you have to buy. It's not generally included in your license. It's an extra cost, but that gives you the ability to use mobile scanning devices inside Acumatica. And that's what we want to share with everybody and show you a simple example of a batch picking process on how it's going to work in Acumatica. And we'll go ahead and show my cell phone that I've loaded. I have Acumatica loaded as a mobile app and show you how you could pick directly to your cell phone as a mobile app and then process the remaining parts of that shipment inside Acumatica.
Sounds good. Let's get started. So let's
right.
throw your screen up and let's start the beginning.
Okay, let me share my screen. I think you can see Acumatica at the moment, right? On our screen. Great. So I'm in Acumatica now, and I'm going to go ahead first, create an order in my Shopify store. Okay, so I'm going to go to orders in my Shopify store, and I'm going to create a new order. So let me go ahead and just...
Okay, so we're pretending that this is
a
customer order received, right?
Correct. So I'm Shopify. I'm going to go and select my order, the item that I want to order here. And I'm just going to come down. I'm going to order this guy. Okay. Order this guy, and I'll hit add. Add the item. I'm going to search myself as a customer. Generally, you're already loaded in as a customer, right? When you log in, so you wouldn't have to do this step. I could say I'm going to pay later. So I'm going to pay this on terms. So this is kind of a newer feature, Shopify B2B. You could buy on terms if you allow your customers to do that. They could go ahead and you could set this up at the customer level. So we could say we're going to go and pay for this.
So the customer can log into their account on your Shopify account and just purchase it on credit terms.
That's right. Exactly. So I have order 1032 created. Now this is sent to Acumatica. Let's go see Acumatica. I'm going to go minimize this. We're in Acumatica here. And so what we see right away inside Acumatica, we see our dashboard. Without doing anything else with that order that I just put in, let's just quickly take a tour around what the shipping clerk dashboard looks like within Acumatica. It gives us the ability to see our overdue shipments, my shipments to pick and pack, my orders to ship, right, based on requested date, and then I have all orders to pick and pack based on shipment date. This is, again, just an out-of-the-box view, but we could tailor this view to something more specific that a customer would need. What I really like the ability is to see, my shipments to pick and pack. When I select that, that'll take me into all my orders. I need to go ahead and ship and pack, essentially, right? Going back on the top left will take us back into my dashboard. If I want to start the pick, pack, ship process with a new order, well, this will take me directly into the pick, pack, ship screen inside Acumatica that I can scan a barcode. Okay, more about that in a little bit. I'll show you, but I just want to share with you how quickly it is to get to these screens within Acumatica. I'm going to go and look at my commerce table at this point. I'm going to process my sales order that I just added. So I'm going to select my sales order entity. I'm going to prepare that. So what this is doing is going out to my Shopify site, grabbing the order that I just brought in. I'm going to select 9 on my sales orders. I'm going to see order 1032 that just came in here from Shopify. Okay. I'm going to select that order. I'm going to process it, and I'm going to commit this as a sales order in my Acumatica instance. I'm going to close. Now we have a sales order. The system's created a number, sales order number for that. I'm going to move into my sales order module.
So that bit just there is the nice connectivity with Shopify, right? That's the old way of doing that would be, oh, here's my web shop. There's a new order. Let me go and manually raise an order in my ERP. We've just done that within like 2 clicks, right?
Within 2 clicks, exactly. And actually, that would be automated. You wouldn't even have to do that. I did that to show you that I was able to just grab the order, and then I could process the order. Once you're live and you're using Acumatica, both of those steps are automated. You have orders just coming in every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, every 2 minutes, whatever interval we decide, you have orders just popping into your Acumatica.
So we could have just sat here for like 5-10 minutes and it would have done it. So
absolutely.
We're just manually doing it, right?
Exactly.
Nice.
So here's our order that just came in, 1032, we could tell by the description. Go into our sales order here. All right. And in our sales order, we could see the item that we're ordering. We could also see, if you go to finance, that this is on terms, 30-day terms that we put in, okay? And we have no payment. If it was a credit card payment that was issued through Shopify, we would see the credit card payment come in here automatically.
Right.
Link back to the order. Okay.
Nice.
Yep. And now at this point, a lot of different things we could do here, but just to kind of stay on topic, I'm going to create my shipment so then I could then get this order prepared for picking. Okay, so we got to first create our shipment record that essentially is the first warehouse document record we create that will then trigger the picks we need to create off of the shipping record. Okay, you don't have to ship it right now. It's just a standalone separate warehouse document that's created off of the sales order to start putting together a resemblance of a shipping queue for the shipping team to know that they need to begin preparing to ship and pick this item. Okay.
Yeah.
The second step now for us in this process is to create the pick. I'm going to go back into our sales order menu. Okay. Remember this order number, our shipment number is 4689. Our sales order number is 7098. I'm going to go into create pick list. I'm going to select batch picking. So I just want to quickly mention a few things here. There's two different type of picks we can create here, actually three now with Acumatica. You have what's called wave picking, batch picking, and then you have directed paperless picking. We won't demo directed paperless picking here, but we should do that at another point. It's just the ability where you see zero paper on the floor, and you could pick only directly through handhelds. You cannot scan, essentially, type of thing, right? Scanning implies you have a paper that you're scanning on. So paperless picking is a whole nother way to pick, which we could probably show in a separate podcast to our team, to everybody out there. But the difference between wave picking and batch picking is primarily that wave picking allows you to pick the same item for multiple orders and pack them in totes or license plates or cartons or whatever, and take that around like a little trolley and wave through the warehouse and get all your picking done. Which is batch picking is you're really not putting out a tote, you're maybe just putting it in the cart essentially, and you're picking by order. But you're picking for multiple orders potentially, and you're putting it down there and you're shipping each order individually in Acumatica. So what we're gonna go ahead and demo today is batch picking for us, but I want us to look at all these different options up here. All these options help you narrow down the orders you want to pick for. Okay, so you could pick for specific warehouses. I'll pick for my wholesale warehouse here, right? I could then pick for starting and ending date of my request shipment dates, pick for specific customer, specific carrier, ship via, for specific inventory items, specific bins, aka locations. In Acumatica, max number of pick lines, max quantities I want people to pick, right? And here's one that we get asked all the time. Max number of pickers. So let's say we want 2 pickers or 3 pickers to be involved in this picking process. Well, I could put that in here and Acumatica will create 3 individual picks or 2 individual picks according to the number of picks I need to generate here. So it's going to send the pickers to different places to pick maybe for the same orders because it could be different items, which is nice because you don't need to have one picker hog the whole pick versus having multiple pickers in case, let's say you have 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 square foot warehouse, you really need to split that up. Okay.
That's nice. That's nice, especially if you've got certain areas where a pallet truck is needed versus loose picking the other end of the warehouse.
Exactly. So we'll go ahead and look at our number of shipments that we have created here in Acumatica, and we see the one here on the bottom, 004689, which is related to our Shopify order 1032. We'll select this order. We want to pick for that. We could select multiple orders here if we wanted to, but just for the example of our example today, for our podcast, we'll pick for one order and just pick for that. We'll have process up on the ribbon. Now we processed it and we have a pick created, and that one shipment that we just created a pick for is no longer on our list.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where did it go, right? How do we go ahead and pick that, right? Let me just show you what the pick looks like in Acumatica, and then we're going to I'm going to broadcast my phone and show you the picking and scanning of those barcodes from the pick through my mobile device. So I'm going to go back to my sales order module. I'm going to go to pick worksheets. Here's our pick worksheet, batch 9. There's a few others that were completed. So I'll go to batch 9. That's in open status. And here we have the item. Okay, we're picking this item from this bin, R1 S1 80-80016. Okay, picking one pack. I can look at the shipment. It's 004689. Current quantity picked is 0, right? We have to ship 1. Status is open. So let's go ahead and print our pick. So I could come here and select this, print pick list, and here's our pick list that gets generated. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and print this because I'm going to scan this at some point. Okay. And I think I got to reduce my size here. Let's do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and print this off to the printer. So I have it. And now I'm going to go and start my picking process. I'm going to take my handheld device, and here is my handheld device. Here's my mobile phone that I have already connected to
And this is the Acumatica app from the App Store, right?
That's correct. Acumatica app from the App Store. Through my phone, I have access to the app, and through the app itself, I'm going to go to our warehouse management functionality and now start the pick, pack, and ship process. So the very first mode I'm in is the pick mode. So it's telling me to go ahead and scan the pick number, the shipment number here. So I'll go and start the scan process. So I have my document. I'll go ahead and scan, and I scanned. So it said, all right, pick worksheet 9-1 is loaded and ready to be processed at this point. So the next scan I have here is to scan the item. So you notice it walks you through nicely on what I'm scanning. So I'm going to go ahead and scan the item. I'm going to go ahead and pick. So here we have the scan. So it picked up the scan, and it's telling us pick list is picked. So that's great, right?
Yep.
Now I could also, if I wanted to, scan a quantity, change the quantity if I wanted to by using the set quantity option down here on the bottom. Okay.
Right. Okay.
I could review what I've picked so far if I wanted to. If I wanted to rescan something, I have the rescan option here. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go ahead and move what I've picked to my sorting bin. And what the sorting bin is, consider it like a staging bin inside Acumatica. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of here. Go ahead and escape out of here. Let's go back in Acumatica. And I'm going to go into my pick worksheets. So in my pick worksheet, I see the status has changed to picking. Okay. Now I need to go ahead and confirm the pick. So I'm going to go back to my mobile device. I'm going to go ahead and confirm my pick now. Now the confirm pick basically means I've completed my picking process, and I need to go ahead and put the inventory in the sorting bin, which is our staging bin here. Might have went across one step here, but we'll go ahead and get this sorted out now. So we went ahead and put the items in the sorting bin. So now essentially this means that this is in a location or a bin that is available for shipping to look and confirm that it's here. They could begin palletizing. They could begin shrink wrapping, right? Putting into different boxes if they need to. And I could just move on to my next pick by going back and now going back to pick, pack, and put away. And I could go back out into the floor and pick up the next pick that's available and start picking that pick essentially. Okay. Now, if you want to confirm that this is picked, I'll go ahead and minimize this. And
I really like the fact that status changes that quickly, especially for other teams like customer service. So as soon as you scan the pick, that 9, it gets that status of picking. So immediately I know, the warehouse is now actually actively picking this order.
Yes. Exactly.
And then once it's kind of completed, that's where we see that status is now picked. And in the background, from inventory management point of view, that's moved from a pickable area of the warehouse to like a loading dock or something, or or some kind of shipment bin, right?
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
And when I come back into my pick worksheet 9, I could see I've picked 1 now in my pick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I could see the status of this pick worksheet has changed to pick. I could go to shipments now, and it's telling me as part of this shipment for this order, I've picked 1 and I'm ready to ship. Now here's an interesting feature that most ERP companies don't have is during the picking process, if I want to start preparing the packing slip, I could do this in advance of even the shipping folks doing it in the logistics department. I could just go in and print packing slip up here, and I'll have my packing slip. I could now go ahead and insert into the box. Okay, and it's also telling me that I have all the inventory in my sort location now that I scanned originally.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is a nice feature. So if I wanted to get that packing slip ready and already put it into the boxes, so shipping knows what's in there, so then all they have to do is just confirm it and then just tape over the box. That's already ready for them.
Yeah, that's
all
nice.
Right? Now we know that this is in pick status, so it's already in the shipping area. Now shipping's going to pick this up and start their process. So I no longer need my handheld device technically, although I could continue to use my handheld device and go through the ship process if I wanted to. But in this case, I want to print a UPS label. So I'm actually going to go into Acumatica and show the UPS label. So I'm going to go back into my shipments here. And I'm in my shipment screen, so I have 004689. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to see what package that the picking team put the items in. I'll say that they put it into this box, this large box for us, and the weight is, let's say, 5 kg. I'm going to go ahead and get the rate. This is going to UPS ground. That's already came over from Shopify. That this is the carrier that the customer has chosen. So we're going to get our cost. So it's $30.46. Fine. That looks good. We're going to go ahead and confirm the shipment. Okay, and now it's confirmed. If I go into my packages, I'll see that there's a label generated here. The label's generated.
That's so nice,
for the customer, ready to go. All they have to do is print it to the warehouse and ship it off, and you're pretty much done at this point. The order, and you also see that the worksheet number, our pick worksheet number, is associated back to the shipping document.
Yeah,
the shipping record in Acumatica. I could update inventory, which could happen automatically as well. And then I could prepare the invoice, and it would be basically the order is complete at this point, right? And we'll have a whole separate session podcast on how invoicing could happen, how you could optimize invoicing once shipping is done, right? Whether you want to automate it or you want to go ahead and do the invoicing manually after the fact, and reasons why you may want to do one over the other. We should probably have a session on that. So as companies are looking to automate their AR departments, they understand what features and functionality is available for when it comes to ERP products that they're selecting or looking at to ensure it can do the right thing for them. But here's our invoice. Basically, it's released. And you notice the terms still remain from the sales order, and that came over from Shopify on terms. Now that's aging on your books, and you collect cash when it comes in. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here. And that takes us through the full demo of the warehouse management system for Acumatica.
I love it. I love it. Even that generating of the UPS label, honestly, the reason why that brings a smile to my face is just the amount of time spent replicating data entry now onto the UPS world ship.
Yeah.
It's completely gone. It's just, it's completely gone. I just remember the pain of warehouse going to world ship and we've not shipped to this customer before, so we can't just look them up, and now we're manually typing in their first line of their address and their second line and what city they're in and what state and what their zip code is. all gone.
All
It's
gone.
just, I wouldn't
Automated,
even say it's one
streamlined.
click. It's just like
Yeah.
it's something that's connected to something we're already doing. We're already marking shipments.
Right.
We're already
Right.
generating that in our ERP. It's just
Mhm.
that's done at the same time in the background, and bang, there's your UPS label.
That's right.
It's just,
That's it. Exactly. Exactly. A lot of customers face that inefficiency is that they get to the point of the product at the dock, then shipping is so disconnected. They have their own system, UPS, Worldship, FedEx. They have 4 or 5 other shipping systems that they go into, and they have to then start managing the rates and quotes and labeling. And there is no visibility back upstream to customer service.
no.
And shipping probably gets the most questions from customer service. Like,
Mm,
did this ship? What is the tracking number? What, when is it going to
yep.
get there? Right? How come it's late? Like, they probably interact all the time, and you're just having like 50 emails go back and forth. Right?
Mm,
This avoids all that.
yep.
This gets the power into the customer service's hands to really give the customer the answer right on the spot without
Mm,
having to wait for shipping.
yep. Even that case there, we saw something that was like, I know it's a demo and example products, but that will happen. That was a product for $7 that got free shipping, and that shipping just cost us over $30.
$30.
We made a loss. Now, no, you'd hope that wouldn't happen, but
That wouldn't
you can
happen,
imagine
right?
that flying
Right.
under the radar, though.
Yeah.
You could,
Yeah.
because you're only going to get an invoice at the end of the month from UPS going, right, here's your,
Right.
your total invoice for the past month that's
Right.
due. How else is that going to be spotted that we're
Exactly.
letting through these small orders at a loss?
Hmm.
You'll just
Hmm.
see a UPS, and if it's in line with the prior kind of average 6 months of UPS costs, then it's just AP team is just going to
Right.
pay that invoice to UPS.
Right.
You're just going to miss these kind of orders that are loss making.
100%. 100%. And now you got the cost, like you mentioned, back into Acumatica against your overall margin, right? Because shipping is a revenue center and a cost center for a lot of companies. They charge for it, and they need to keep track of how much you're spending on it. So
Mm.
doing it into your
Yeah.
ERP system just gets it nicely connected with your financials, with
Yep.
your managerial reporting side of the system, to be able to raise rates or reduce rates, right, on your e-commerce site, depending
Mm-hmm.
on what you're seeing over trends. So you're not losing money on shipping. So yeah, it's a really important point. I think sometimes um, that doesn't get looked at as often, but it is a revenue generating department if looked at that way. But
Mm.
in terms of our demo today on the warehouse management system, I think we want to do a few more of these. I think this is great because this gets that thought out there. We need to make our warehouse a little bit more efficient, and we need to make them mobile so they're not chained down to a desk, or they're not chained down to prone to errors when there's changes that happen in the front office. So
Mm.
if you're a customer that owns an ERP system, if you don't have an ERP system, I think and you have a warehouse of inventory, it's definitely worthwhile looking into this technology because it's only going to make you better, and get your orders out the door a lot more accurate. So you're not missing things
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day. So I think it's a
Yep.
win. I think totally a win, that if ERP systems have this out of the box, I think those are the ones that you'd want to consider, especially if you have ambitions and goals to have an automated, efficient warehouse.
Mm-hmm. And we can have this running. We obviously saw it as the app from the App Store, but we can use warehouse
Yep.
tablets and
Yep.
guns and stuff like normal.
Exactly. It's
Okay, cool.
industrial devices. Yeah, like a Zebra
Yeah, that's it.
Zebra handheld and
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A Honeywell
Okay. And
handwell.
in terms of the barcodes, we can use whatever. Yeah,
It's
so we
yep. You
can
can use
use. I'm
2D,
thinking like
3D.
long distance. If
Yeah.
something's like in the
Yep.
racking, like
Exactly.
a barcode 128 probably isn't going to scan
Yeah.
from that
No.
distance, is
No.
it?
No. 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 Yeah, but it's totally possible, right? It's just all the specific barcodes that you need to use, all compatible at the end of the day. It's just on your configuration and setup of your warehouse. I think that's why it's
Okay.
important to make sure you understand what you need first, so you're not out there buying, all this warehouse management technology that's not going to be useful to you. You want to know what your end goal is, and what your warehouse configuration is, and buy tools according to
Yeah.
that to make you efficient.
Yeah. And that should already be set up, right, in terms of just bin locations in the
Bin
ERP. So
locations.
that bit's
Yeah.
done. So I guess you might have some barcode labeling of your warehouse
Mm-hmm.
in terms
Mm-hmm.
of your racks and
Yep.
where locations are.
Racks, pallets, some items. So items are
Yeah.
default in certain areas. You want to make sure those are barcoded. Quantity you really can't barcode as much because that's variable based on order. But yeah, usually
Yeah.
it's gonna be the warehouse. It's gonna be the bin. It's gonna be the item number. Those are usual suspects that get barcoded.
Yeah. That was good. I love seeing like removing all the crap that burdens teams.
Yeah.
And I think there were two standout ones for me there, which was just the way that the order came in
Yep.
originally, which I know we've covered before with the
Mm-hmm.
integrations to Shopify and BigCommerce. But also on that side of just how well you can make sure that the picking teams aren't chained to a desk. They're using the ERP more than they ever have. Um, but now it's you can use it and you can interact with the ERP, but not sitting it behind a computer. Here you
Right.
are out on the I'd say on the shop floor, but on the warehouse floor,
Right.
actually picking as you go. Everything's being fed back to the ERP. All other teams are being updated. The way that that's said that its status is picking
Mm-hmm.
once that pick sheet has been picked for customer service, so they're not running downstairs wondering where that piece of paper is for that pick.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is really cool. And
Yeah.
then finally that integration there with the UPS shipping label is it's just so much admin gone.
Clean. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
so clean, so natural, and efficient at the end of the day.
Good. Thank you as ever. Another successful demo. It's great to see another part of the system done. I know sometimes it's easy to get bogged down and have finance often get the limelight when we talk about ERP. But it's really good to see other teams and how they can kind of leverage it, especially from mobile technology,
Yep.
to really give the power to the people closest to the work. The people
Mm-hmm.
on the shop floor.
Mm-hmm.
And it can, and the way that the ERP, a modern ERP, can actually support those teams, rather than it just be a back office
Right.
piece of software.
Yep.
Good. Thank you very much,
All right.
and we'll catch up for the next episode in 2 weeks' time.
All right.